Hey guys, we're back with another topic of communication or understanding. And I think this topic in itself, a lot of people are affected by this topic, or a lot of guys encounter this particular topic or this scenario. The scenario is dating a female who came from a broken household. It's only for the mentally strong man. And I'll tell you why. Visualize this. You meet this female. In the beginning phases, you guys hit it off quite well. You have certain things in common, certain likes, dislikes. You feel as if this is going to go somewhere. And then catastrophe hits. Not anything major, not anything of severity, meaning communication or disagreement. When I say disagreement, just something small, you and her have to find out how to navigate through those waters to find a peaceful resolve. So it takes a very unique man in order to make that woman better. Because after all, you don't get into this person's life to fail in that relationship. And as a man, your job is to make her a better human being. But here's a word of caution. If you're a male that came from a broken household that didn't have a man in the household, you may not need to be in the presence or in a relationship with a female who had the same dynamics as you did. And I say that simply because visualize this. You're raised by a female. She's raised by a female. Broken home syndrome. All these things or all your behaviors came from somewhere. And those behaviors came from that household. So when I give you these scenarios, these are real life scenarios. And I want you to really just look at, if you don't see it in yourself, look at your friends, look at your family. But most importantly, take some understanding based off what you see, because it is a reality. And no one wants to be hurt in a relationship. No one wants their time to be wasted in a relationship, because your job as a man, once again, as I said earlier, is to make that woman's life better. So you're going to have some form of patience, because for one, a disagreement with a person that came from a broken household can be somewhat problematic. Because for one, if she came from a broken household, or she's just dominantly ran by her mom or raised by her mom, most of the encounters that you guys have in words are going to be your fault, because simply they tend to not understand accountability. So as a male that gets into that particular dynamic, if you're not mentally strong, you're going to do what most people have done to her in the past, including her father, which is damage her a little bit more. There's going to be time, which of course she's not going to be able to get that back, nor will you be able to get that back as a man. So that in itself is one of the biggest factors, which is time. But most importantly, you're dealing with another human being. And your job as a male is not to destroy or make her life worse. So when you encounter this female that came from that household that has that mom ran dynamic, your job is to basically understand her. You have to be patient with her, because one thing about it is that she's going to have to be cultivated into a human being that understands that you have a voice and she has a voice, and somewhere in the middle there's going to be a medium. There's going to be a meeting place, or a agree to disagree. But you can't do the same thing that she's doing, which is using her emotions to navigate through a difficult situation, such as communication, if you guys are having some sort of difficulties. So I give you examples, including myself, dating a female that came from that same dynamic. But it took me to have the tolerance, the patience, and the understanding of where she came from. And with that understanding of where she came from, that led me to understand that she's a great person, but yet the characteristics in which her parents gave to her were detrimental or bad for relationships, because once again, her parents had a bad relationship. So as a result of it, when we got together, it was somewhat wavy or rocky. But in time, we found understanding. We found that line in the middle of the road, the line in the middle of the road, meaning we had a happy meeting place where I understood her, she understood me, and I allowed her to articulate her thoughts. And sometimes, and of course, it's difficult for her to articulate herself or even express her emotions, because at times in households that are single, or that are ran by single people or single moms, they don't really open up and express themselves. So there are going to be some difficulties as it relates to her opening up and really just talking to you. And that's just one thing that I realized as well. But once again, due to time and understanding, I took my time with this person because I care about this person. And I knew that deep down inside, that just like any other human being, she just wants to be cared about. She wants to be loved, and she wants to be in a relationship. But most importantly, she did not want to be left like her father left her. That is one of the things that you have to understand as being a man, the lead, the person that's supposed to protect her, the person that's supposed to give her that inspiration, to help her to fill that void of insecurity. Because most females that come from households that don't have that, they have insecurities. They have the feeling of, you're not gonna be here. But yet you have to show them that you're going to be here. You're going to have to be open enough to communicate with her and allow her to pose questions to her, up to you. So, and I've even thought of this. I've even heard individuals say that, if she's posing questions, she's too clingy, she's too needy, she's too inquisitive, and she'll run a man away. Well, she won't run a man away. She may run a boy away, because boys tend to not want to answer questions. This topic of communication is simply for the individuals who have the knowledge and the mental strength to do that. Because once again, she is a human just like you, and she deserves patience. She deserves time. But most importantly, she deserves love. Okay? So when you really just look at that, look at the person and look at where she's been, meaning there has not been a man in her life that has successfully helped her to get to the point of where she can fully trust him. And your job as the person that wants to be with her is to give her that sense of peace, that sense of comfort, and that sense of knowing that you have her back. You are her support system through whatever happens in her world, and allow her to open up and just talk to you. And your job is to sit back and listen and absorb it and meet her somewhere in the middle with understanding, and of course with that human inside of you as well.